Good evening, wrestling fans. Welcome to Evolution of Pro Wrestling. I am your host, Jay Lewis, the encyclopedia of pro wrestling.
And I'm Jay, the whiz kid of pro wrestling.
Yes, today we are going to have an excellent show. But before we continue with this show today, Jaden, the season openings of SmackDown and Raw. What did you think about that?
Man, this is just like, to be honest, it reminds me of old times when you used to see the battles of Raw versus SmackDown, the invasions these guys used to have. So, this brings back a lot of memories, and I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to happen with this. What do you think, Dad?
No, listen, The Fiend came to Monday Night Raw. He came to Monday Night Raw. He attacked Retribution, but Retribution started the war. See, now he is in a much edgier network. So now WWE can finally pull the trigger with The Fiend.
And to be completely honest, Dad, sorry to cut you off, but to be completely honest, The Fiend doesn't need help. At least in my opinion. The Fiend doesn't need help. But to me, The Fiend is just a one-man wrecking ball.
Of course, especially with Alexa Bliss.
Exactly.
And that was
a really bold move for him to attack Retribution, especially since, Retribution has a few guys on their team. So that was a really bold move by The Fiend. And I just absolutely enjoyed watching that. That was great. But to be honest, that is something The Fiend would do, but I did not expect it. Just to be completely honest, I didn't expect it.
It was amazing. And I'm looking forward to seeing the matches that he can have now that he's in Monday Night Raw.
Yeah.
Now, Jaden.
Yes.
When we talk about matches, when it comes to certain matches that we think about that happen, like Roman Reigns and the Beast Braun Strowman, when those two fought, or Hulk Hogan and Stone Cold, that match never happened. But you had Triple H and Sting. That match happened.
Right.
But the match that never happened, Sting versus The Undertaker. Everybody still talks about that match.
Wait, which Sting are we talking about? The Crow or like colorful paint Sting? What Sting is we talking about?
No, we're talking about the Crow Sting.
Okay. All right, good.
So I think I would have liked to see the Phenom take on him.
I agree. Man.
Welcome, Jessica. Thank you.
You just gave me goosebumps from that one.
That's what I'm saying.
Man.
That match, if that match would have happened, oh my God,
that would have sold out. That would have sold out shows. I feel like if that match was to happen, there would have been no competition, to be honest.
I don't know. It would have been a match.
For that card, there would have been no competition.
With those two?
Exactly. There would have been no other competition. If they were to have a pay-per-view and that match was to ever happen, that would probably steal the spotlight. That would probably be the best match on the card, or that would probably be the best match.
Listen, that match by far was a match that should have happened when Sting came to WWE in November a couple of years back.
Yep.
I don't know why. It should have happened. It never happened. It pissed me off, I was
just surprised it didn't happen. I was just in shock. I was like, I'm surprised these two guys never fought, because they used to be in the same company. They were both in, what was it, WCW? Am I correct? They were both in WCW at a point. So, and both were in WWE at a point too. So I was just surprised at the fact that they didn't put these two iconic superstars against each other.
Well, okay, so let's get more deeper into this, Jay.
Okay.
Say, for an example, Sting came to the WWE, but much earlier. Like, say,
Prime?
The Attitude Era.
Okay, all right. Okay, oh yeah.
And not as the Crow.
Not as
not as the Crow. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
What if he came as something different? As the Sting that he is, the woo, and the fan favorite, and not the quiet one that he goes with his baseball bat.
That's a good thing though, because if he was to join as that Sting and the Attitude Era, that could have been Sting's start to a good career. If he would have carried it on, I feel like he probably wouldn't have become the Crow, because they probably would have WWE probably would have switched it up. Mm-hmm. So I'm kind of glad that he didn't go to WWE, but at a point he did go to WWE. But besides that, I am happy he didn't go as the Crow, because that's my favorite Sting. The Crow Sting, the quiet Sting, always carries his baseball bat around, mm-hmm. the white and black face paint. Mm-hmm. That's my favorite Sting. So I feel like if Sting was to join that early, that would be a great start to Sting's career.
Now, if say for example, if Sting would have came in the Attitude Era, who do you think would have been his first opponent besides the Undertaker? Do you think it would have worked with all the stars that were in the WWE at the time? With Shawn Michaels, Stone Cold, The Rock, Triple H,
we're talking about
Jericho.
Fan favorite Sting here. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, do you think that?
I think it could have worked.
You think that type of Sting would have been able to work in the WWE?
Of course. How? Because Sting, that was like basically Sting at his prime. There was two sides of Sting. There was Sting when he was the Crow version at his prime, and there was fan favorite Sting at his prime.
Okay.
So you really couldn't take that guy out of his prime for a long time. So I feel like Sting at his prime was an absolutely phenomenal wrestler, especially since he was a fan favorite. Mm-hmm. And back then people like Shawn Michaels, Stone Cold, The Rock, Mick Foley, people like that were popping in the WWE. Mm-hmm. So I feel like that would have been a good way, no matter if it was a win or a loss for Sting, that would have been a good way to get himself on the map.
Okay, so what do you think if Undertaker would have never left WCW?
They probably would have fought. They probably could have won.
Well, they did fought. They fought in WCW a long time ago. But what I'm saying is, if Sting would have ended up in WWE and Undertaker would have stood in WCW, how do you think the NWO and all the storyline
to be honest
would have gone?
I feel like
if Sting would have never been in WCW.
I feel like, to be honest though, if Undertaker was to stay in WCW, he would probably still be like Mean Mark Calloway or something like that. Because I didn't. If he was to stay in WCW, I wouldn't have seen the Phenom or the Dead Man in his future.
No, but that's what I'm saying. When he was doing his interview with Stone Cold in Stone Cold's podcast, he mentioned that people in WCW said he was never going to be a star, that nobody would pay to see him, and look what happened. The man came to the WWE. The man became
he went on a
legend.
WrestleMania record.
He became a legend.
Can repeat that.
But again, why did the match never happen?
That's a question a lot of people ask. It's not even just what happened, why did this person leave, why did this person leave. The main question about this topic is, why didn't that match ever happen? Because no one knows why the match ever happened. And it kind of annoyed me that the match never happened, because these two guys were one of the most phenomenal wrestlers I've ever seen in the ring. Undertaker in my books, he still holds the record for being 20-0. I don't care about the 2 losses he took at WrestleMania. He's still 20-0 for me, because those losses don't count. And Sting is just an absolutely phenomenal wrestler. He's the quiet one, always carrying his bat.
He was
great.
He was very loyal to WCW when he was there, and it pretty much caught the attention of people as he's the franchise that he just carried WCW to new heights, and it's like, what next? What's next for him? The NWO came in, and everything just went. It went great. But the moment you start adding so many numbers, and it starts getting whacked. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't the best. Mm-mm. It wasn't the best
at all. I
all.
absolutely agree with you on that one. That was a big mistake right there.
Of course it was a big mistake. Like, you just don't do stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But, hey, everybody does what they do. That's what they did. The NWO was a big trademark at the time. It was gaining money.
It was.
They had that money going. You know what I'm saying? But
now that I know I forgot to ask you this because we were just talking about Sting here. Mm-hmm. So, what is your favorite version of Sting? Sorry. And why?
I gotta say, that's a tough one. I gotta say, the Sting that took on Ric Flair for the first time for the heavyweight title, when Sting was just starting.
Okay, all right. Okay. Now I have a question. I have another one for you. What would have happened if Sting joined WWE as the Crow and stayed in WWE from that point going on? What would have you seen in his future? You think he could have took, especially in the Attitude Era, starting from Attitude Era as the Crow, going forward? What did you see in him? Did you see him going against Stone Cold, winning the heavyweight title? What did you see happening?
No, I can actually, if you're talking about Undertaker being there, then yes, I can see Undertaker and Sting battling because they're both in their primes. You have the you have the Undertaker as the Ministry of Darkness, the Lord of Darkness. And then you got Sting, the Crow. Two awesome characters. Great characters.
Quiet, strong.
Well, we got a different opinion. James Sargent, welcome, brother. He says Sting would not have made it into WWE. That's a tough opinion.
That is a tough opinion.
I gotta disagree with that. You know what I'm saying? And Luis Cedeno, welcome, brother. We got Luis Cedeno on the show. Jaden, say hello. We also have Jamie Solomons. Thank you for joining us, sir. Jamie says Joker Sting for me. I loved his for sanity.
Joker Sting.
Yeah.
How many?
He was a character.
Did
he was a gimmick of
Joker.
The Joker. Yes.
I gotta check that out. Then I've never heard of that. I've only seen like Ultimate Warrior type.
Oh, you'll see. You can see later on YouTube.
All right.
Well, before we continue, guys, with this topic. Please feel free to share our content all over social media. Bring your friends, your cousins, your brothers, whatever, anybody to discuss professional wrestling. This topic is hot. The match that never happened, that should have happened, Sting versus The Undertaker. The Crow against The Phenom. Give us your thoughts about it. Do you think Sting would have been able to survive in WWE? Do you think Undertaker would have ever made it in WCW if he would have never got to WWE and been so famous? Would he have been able to deal with the NWO? Would Sting be able to deal with DX? Vice versa. Give us your thoughts.
Yeah.
So, James says Vince would have ruined him.
Okay.
Elaborate on that, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
I have to agree with him on that one. To be honest, I have to agree with him. I feel like if Sting was to join WWE, just forget about WCW for right now. If Sting was to join WWE from that point going forward, Vince probably would have ruined his character. I'm just being straight up honest.
Well, I wouldn't say he would have ruined his character because this was the Attitude Era, so characters were being built up. You understand? So
okay, bud. Okay, I understand that. I understand that because I'm not necessarily knocking you all the way either. But imagine what happened. But what would happen if the Attitude Era was over? Then what? Sting wouldn't have been as interesting as they wanted him to be.
Okay, so we got a few comments from Brian because you know Brian's a huge Undertaker fan. He says I don't think Sting would have been Sting had he went to the WWE.
Right.
Absolutely. Then he says, do you think Taker would have been able to be Taker at WCW? Nah, of course not. Because at the time, they didn't have the vision of what WWE had.
Right.
See, that's what I'm saying. Vince had that vision. Once had that vision. Well, now he's just...
Well, he's getting old.
Crapping the shit out of WWE. Like, you know, yeah, there's been some creative things going on with Monday Night Raw and SmackDown, so that I actually enjoyed this week. So... But
still, like somebody new needs to take over.
No, but that's besides the point. Sting and Undertaker would have been an epic match. Now there was a question there that said, "Could you guys see Undertaker and Sting as a tag team?"
No.
Why not?
Well, because I feel like they wouldn't be the type of people to work as a team and get somewhere with it. I feel like those those two would probably be the type of tag team to hate each other and then end up fighting each other. Because I feel like that would be a perfect build-up. They're forced to work together, knowing they hate each other. Then they get into a brawl in a tag team match, and then they finally settle it with a singles match. That would be my perfect build-up right there. Mm-hmm. So I feel like
how do you think this rivalry would go? Do you think the Undertaker would do what he do with his lightning strike, or Sting from the Raptors, or whatever? How would it go?
Knowing Sting, he's not gonna be petrified by Undertaker's little mind games because Sting is scary himself. So I feel like Sting is just gonna take it as a joke, and eventually Undertaker is gonna have to literally step up and attack him instead of doing all these mind games with him.
So Brian brought up a valid point right now. He said they both had dark characters, but too different to compare and put them as a team. Exactly.
Right.
Because one was the Phenom, one was the Lord of Darkness. You know, that's the problem. Sting, he's Crow, he's quiet, carries a bat, no sound. You know, the Undertaker, you know.
But he doesn't talk much either.
Undertaker but at that time, when he was the Lord of Darkness, he was. So, Ben Cliff, welcome, brother. It's been a while. He says, give me Vampiro over Sting anyways. Wow. James wrote a whole book here. Let's read this. He says, Sting versus Taker could have been a build-up for over a year. Start with the night of WrestleMania. After WrestleMania, Taker cuts a promo, and all of a sudden, a black bat drops from the ceiling. The next week, a crow flies through the arena. The promos or vignettes could be followed. The match gets finally set. After Taker wins in Hell in a Cell match, Sting appears on the top of the cell.
Damn. Oh my God.
Jesus.
This guy's creative. Oh my goodness.
No, that's amazing booking. And yes,
why don't you be a booker, man?
And that's what us fans think as we think about these matches. Like, what if this match would have happened?
This would have happened?
Like, holy cow. Brian says Taker was always dark, but Sting was dark, but still boisterous in a way. I'm sure I didn't say that word correctly.
Boisterous. I think you said that right.
I hope so.
I don't even know what that means.
Brian, you're using too many big words.
What's up with the big words? That's too.
The encyclopedia is not here today, man.
Yeah, the Wiz Kid is just coming back from recovery.
No, listen. I wish this match would have happened. You know what I'm saying?
Tell me about it.
And I always wonder. Oh, he said I said it right. Okay, see, thank you. See that the encyclopedia tapped me in the back. Someone needs to check your temperature. No, I don't think so. Jamie says basically Sting was a hitman.
If that's what you, he has a point. If that's what you want to call it, he has a valid point. Okay,
here's a good question, and this is going towards Brian because Brian is a huge fan. What if the American Badass would have ride down to WCW ramp? What if he would have? What if he would have jumped ship as the American Badass in that time of WCW?
I feel like that would have been...
Alex, welcome, brother.
That would have been a big step for WCW. Because
no, but what if it happened?
That's what I'm saying. That would have been a big step.
What would have been your thoughts with that?
See, that would have been like a... Man, this is crazy.
It's tough. It is. You think about it as a fan, like, oh shit, like
what if this really was to happen? This wouldn't have only been a good opportunity for WCW, but it would have been a good opportunity for Undertaker because back then, because WCW and WWE had totally different styles of wrestling. So I feel like Undertaker could have showed more of his angry side and more of his vengeance side of that character. More of the biker. He could have showed more of that side on WCW because he probably wouldn't have needed a filter or any of that. So I would have enjoyed to see him in WCW as that gimmick.
Well, again, see, this is Brian. Brian gave his opinion. It wouldn't work. Ted Turner Bischoff wouldn't know what to do with a character like that.
Okay, so he does have a point
because Look how long it took them to build this feud with Sting and Hulk Hogan for Starrcade. For a whole year.
Wait, Hulk Hogan was in WCW, right?
Hulk Hogan was in the NWO. Okay. He was the leader of the NWO.
Oh, yes.
But that's what I'm saying. How do you think that would have worked if he would have, like, you build up that entire match for so long? Why? It took you 1 year to build an entire rivalry.
And I feel like,
so how long will you take with the Undertaker? Look how long they took when they brought Bret Hart out. The moment that Montreal Screwjob happened, you should have brought him back the next night.
I also feel like he would have immediately changed Undertaker's gimmick because people would probably be like, who is this guy? We're confused. Don't get me wrong. A few fans would have probably recognized him from WWE if he was to transition. Mm-hmm. But a lot of people would be like, he's just going to come over here and take the spotlight. And probably a lot of people are not going to enjoy that. So, yeah, they're probably going to change his gimmick all the way, and then that just would have been a ball dropper for Undertaker. If that was to really happen, Undertaker probably wouldn't be the guy he is today. Mm-hmm. If you want to be completely honest. Undertaker wouldn't be.
No, absolutely. That's what I'm saying, that it comes to a point where you need to analyze where everything is coming from.
Right.
If would the Undertaker be a good gimmick? Would that American Badass have been a good gimmick for WCW? Would the Crow, at the time when Sting never spoke, would have been a good gimmick for WWE?
Well, what time are we talking about?
The Attitude Era.
Crow Sting? No. No. I don't feel like Crow Sting would have worked out in WWE during the Attitude Era. Because I think most people know the Attitude Era for one, Stone Cold always messing with the McMahons. One, people getting busted open with a chair. People falling off of balconies. The Attitude Era was the era that everybody enjoyed. And Sting isn't that type of wrestler. So, to see Crow Sting in that era, to me, I personally feel like it wouldn't work out.
Hey, Mitch, how you doing, brother? A long time no hear. How you doing?
Sorry, Jack. It's fine. Insane Sting and Paint Sting, I seen that working, but Crow Sting, I can't see that working during the Attitude Era. It just doesn't sit well with me.
Well, we got an old colleague of my wife, Mitch Cohan. He says, while I do think it would be a great match, I think Sting was at his best when he could press slam his opponent and use the Scorpion Deathlock. That's the original Sting.
Deathlock,
That's the original Sting. That's what he's talking about.
So he has a Scorpion Deathlock. So isn't his finisher now called the Scorpion?
No, it's the Scorpion Death Drop.
So it was the Scorpion Deathlock. Now it's the Scorpion Death Drop.
Yes.
All right, that makes sense.
Because he drops you. It's like a reverse DDT.
Oh, okay, yeah.
All right. But that's what I'm saying. When you saw the match, you saw how the build-up happened with Triple H and Sting when he came to WWE.
Yeah.
Would he been able to get that same build-up with someone like Shawn Michaels or maybe The Rock? Could he have that same build-up with maybe Bret Hart at the time? So
we're talking Crow Sting, or we're talking about like very early prime Sting? Which Sting are we talking about?
But that's my question. With his caliber, the way he was before he hit the Crow character, and then eventually get on there, do you think he would have been better as the Crow, coming in here starting a new rivalry, or would he been better as the press Sting, body press, Scorpion Deathlock? I
feel like he would have been better as that Sting. Coming into WWE, if he was to face off against guys like Stone Cold, Shawn Michaels, Mick Foley, people like that, then yes, I feel like the strong Sting, bodybuilder type Sting, would have been perfect for that. But Scorpion Sting at that time, I feel like it. I can't see a Shawn Michaels versus a Sting, or a Stone Cold versus a Scorpion Sting. I can see a Mick Foley and a Sting happening, but
they have fought before in WCW.
But with those guys,
Mick Foley was Cactus Jack.
I just can't see it happening.
Okay, so in your opinion, guys, I'm gonna give you three questions. The first one is, do you think Sting would have been able to make it in WWE? Do you think The Undertaker would have been The Undertaker in WCW? And if the match ever happened in their primes, who would win? Give us your thoughts on that now. Jaden, I'm going to kick this off to you. Give us your thoughts on what I just asked him.
Dang, that you got me with that one. I'm not even gonna lie. To be honest, I have no idea yet. This is you got me with this one.
Okay, so while you're thinking about that, I'm going to read this comment of James Sargent. If Sting enters the WWF in 2001, 2002, he would have had to face guys like Kane, Triple H, Foley, Jericho, and a few others. Then build for the Taker happens at Royal Rumble. See, that's his way of pretty much stating yes, Sting probably would have made it in WWE in a sense. You know what I mean? It's good. It pretty much if you bring him in too early, you're gonna screw up his character. So. Blake says Deathlock is a submission hold. Death Drop is a finishing maneuver. Yes, it is. Brian loved the old school Sting and Ultimate Warrior would have been an excellent tag team. Yes, it sure would have been. Blake says yes, Sting could have made it in WWE.
See, now I feel like I actually have my answer this time. I feel like it can go both ways. Just like you said, if you put Sting in the WWE too early, you can mess him up. If you put him in too late, you're still going to mess him up. So you got to wait for the right time. You got to base him off of the gimmick that he is. You can't base him off of the way he wrestles or his style of wrestling. You got to base him off of his gimmick in order to see where he fits. So yeah, I feel like in a sense, Sting could have made it in WWE.
Yeah. It's tough. It's tough. It's tough to call, you know. Brian says, I think they messed up the Crows thing when they had him talking while being that character. Yes, they did. Because when he was in WCW, it's like, what next? Like,
right.
What are you going to do? Oh, man. And it's like...
But that's...
I would have had love
like
to see
I said, though, in a sense, you know, I still feel like Sting could have joined WWE, but... I feel like when they did put him in WWE, that was the perfect time to do it. It's like, see, for this, they actually did it right because they put him in as the Crow. And, the Crow was my favorite version of Sting. So I feel like that was the perfect way to bring Sting into the WWE.
Yes, exactly. And look, even James Sargent says that the build-up for Hulk Hogan and Sting was a waste of a finish.
Yeah,
because the way the match finished was terrible. And yes, Brian, you're right. They did destroy him within the Wolfpack. Like there was no need to do that.
Wait, Wolfpack? What happened?
He was in the Wolfpack. Sting was in the Wolfpack. Yeah.
Oh.
And Jessica said that no, Undertaker would not have been the Undertaker if he would have been in WCW.
Right.
And she's absolutely right because WCW did not have the ideas that WWE had at the time.
Just like, but
all they were working on was guys from WWE that came to WCW.
But that's like vice versa,
Hulk Hogan
though, because then, if Sting would have joined WWE, then most likely he probably wouldn't have been Sting. He probably would have been.
Now, so imagine putting those two if they would have been in their primes in a Hell in a Cell. Sting and the Undertaker.
Okay, so I'm putting Sting in WCW and Undertaker in WWE because for me, that'd be the only way I would watch that match because I feel like Undertaker, WCW, I didn't enjoy it too much, and WWE Sting, I didn't enjoy too much either. So the only way that would work out is if you put WCW Sting against WWE Undertaker in a Hell in a Cell match.
Yep. Well, I would actually have to give my vote. Actually, I would have to pick Undertaker on this with this one.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
I have to pick Undertaker.
And Jada, we mentioning Hell in a Cell. This Sunday is Hell in a Cell. Amazing matches that we're going to talk about. We're going to get your predictions, and we're going to just keep it going. But before we do that, we're just going to read one more comment from Brian. He says, Taker was a vision of Vince. Vince knew how to handle that. You see what they did with Dustin Reynolds, Goldust. They gave him a stupid character, dressing him similar to Taker. Yep, you're absolutely right.
They did good with it, though.
He did good. He did good with it. He did good with the gimmick.
With the Goldust gimmick, they don't get me wrong. The gimmick was absolutely retarded. I did not. The gimmick was so goofy to me, but they made it look so great and so good by the way they used the gimmick for Goldust. So
okay.
I liked it.
So Jaden.
Yes.
Hell in a Cell this Sunday. A lot is going on. A lot of stuff is going on.
I have not watched that. Sting in War Games? No, I have not.
Oh, I can show you that. I can show you that. All right, so Jaden, Hell in a Cell. Let's get to our matches. Kevin Owens and Aleister Black has been announced for Hell in a Cell. Who are you giving this to?
I gotta go with Aleister Black.
Why?
I don't know. I don't really hear from him much, and I'm not really such a big fan of Kevin Owens, so I want to see somebody new win. So, yeah, I'm gonna give it to Aleister Black. Who you got? Who you got, Dad?
I'm gonna go with Kevin Owens.
Okay.
You gotta give him his due. You know, he's been losing a little too much.
All right, you got a point about that, but I still feel like Aleister Black is taking this.
Okay. Next match.
All right.
Dominic Mysterio, Seth Rollins, and Murphy.
So it's a handicap match.
No, it's a triple threat match.
Wait a minute. I thought Buddy Murphy was on Seth Rollins'
No, he betrayed him.
Ooh.
He betrayed him.
I'm sorry. I gotta go with. I don't even know what to call him anymore.
James picks Black. Aleister Black. Seth Rollins. Okay.
You gotta call him Seth freaking Rollins.
Yeah.
You can't call him the Monday Night Messiah.
Yeah,
He's not on Monday Night Raw.
SmackDown.
It's not on Monday Night Raw.
He's. I think he's gonna take it.
To be honest, though, I wouldn't mind seeing Seth Rollins as a babyface again. I enjoy his heel character, but I wouldn't mind Seth Rollins. I feel like Seth Rollins plays good on both sides. He could play a good heel and he could play a good face. Look at him when the Shield regrouped. They were a face. Look at Seth Rollins now. He used to be the Monday Night Messiah, and he was one of the best heels, and still is the best heel at this moment. He is the Friday
Night Pastor. Jesus Christ.
He said the Friday Night Pastor.
Jeez. Well, with those pants, I don't know, man. He looked like the Michael Jackson of old.
He said the Friday
God rest his soul. I'm sorry.
He said the Friday Night Pastor.
Jeez. Guy's wearing pants that he got high waters on. Like, come on, man. What you doing? But I'm gonna give it to Seth Rollins too. That's probably a no-brainer.
Friday Night Pastor.
So, Jeff Hardy versus Elias.
I gotta go with Jeff Hardy.
I gotta go with Elias. Yep. Because you know why? They bring him back for what? The man was hurt. You made a great concert for him on SmackDown. Why make him lose?
Because the only thing he's good at is playing a guitar.
No, the man can wrestle.
I know.
He can wrestle.
Of
the
course,
man can definitely wrestle.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not knocking Elias. Elias is a really good wrestler. He's the type of one to fool you for his music playing, and then once you turn your back on him, it's over. Elias is gonna destroy you.
Exactly.
So Elias is an absolutely phenomenal wrestler.
Bishop Rollins. Jesus Christ. All right,
man.
so the next match. Bayley versus Sasha Banks. The match that was bound to happen. It was gonna happen. It was going to happen. So
to be honest, I don't know. I'm gotta stay mutual on this one. I don't gotta vote. Me, no comment, because I don't know.
Oh, Travis the Walker says Jeff Hardy is going to take this one. It's going to be tough to call. It's going to be a pretty good match. Jessica says Elias. James says Sasha Banks. Not yet.
I don't got to pick.
I keep saying it. Bayley, for Bayley to lose the title in this type of
that would drop her character
in this type of match. It's better for her to lose the title to Sasha Banks at Survivor Series, where it counts. The bigger pay-per-view.
Right.
The bigger revenue. The
bigger...
You know what I'm saying?
A pay-per-view.
Pay-per-view. You know, the venue.
Venue.
Venue. That's what I was to say. Venue. Brian, don't make fun of me. Brian's going for Sasha. James going for Sasha. Okay.
I stand mutual. Me has no vote. I'm not voting.
Well, it's going to be a good match.
I'll vote for both, to be honest, because I like both wrestlers. So
yes, and yes, Blake, we covered that yesterday in Weekends of Wrestling. The FTR will be facing the Young Bucks, and I'm definitely looking forward to that match. Brian says, I think Bayley needs to drop that title. She's getting stale for me.
Just not here in Hell in a Cell.
Yeah, just not here. Let her drop it at Survivor Series.
Yeah.
Give her that much. You know, she's still a
good champion.
Good champion. So next one, we have Drew McIntyre against the Legend Killer, Randy Orton.
Oh man, this is another hard pick. I don't think they're gonna give Randy Orton this title yet. I feel like Randy Orton is eventually gonna get the title, but I think they're waiting for the right time because I feel like people do want to see Randy Orton as champion, but it's too early, to be honest. So for now, that's a good
That's
thing.
a possibility.
Edge may interfere.
That's a possibility.
I feel that. I feel like Randy Orton may get close to winning, and then Edge is gonna interfere and deliver a spear to him.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if Edge tries gunning for the title by himself.
We were talking about that yesterday.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Talking about that yesterday. That it was pretty much what.
But what I would like to see is if Randy Orton was to win that title, I would like to see Edge versus Randy.
Yes.
For the title.
No. I want to see Edge versus Drew McIntyre for that title.
You know what? Yeah, let's.
Listen, I love Randy, but I love him. But as a character, the man was good. But I'm sorry, you know, I'm tired of seeing that rivalry. Like, let it go.
Yeah,
let it go.
That rivalry was getting dry.
I think Edge and Drew would be a better rivalry.
Me too. I agree. Edge and Orton Mania for the title.
Some people saying Orton. And
I gotta go with Drew.
I'm going with Drew on this one. I'm sorry. I'm gonna go with Drew, but you never know. WWE is unpredictable. You know the way things are going.
WWE has been interesting though for the past little while. To be
honest. No, it's been getting there. You know, it's been a long road.
It has been a really long road.
And it's been getting better for the WWE.
Oh yeah.
You know? Michael Larkin, welcome, brother. He says Orton finally wins the championship, then down the line set up a feud with the Fiend, cause Orton was in the Wyatt family. That's also a possibility.
At a point, yeah.
That's also a possibility.
He could be playing, yeah.
So, we're definitely looking forward to that. So, and the final match, which I'm thinking is going to be the main event, Roman Reigns, the Tribal Chief, against Jey Uso in a Hell in a Cell I Quit match.
Why do I feel like The Rock or Jimmy Uso is going to interfere in that match?
I don't think The Rock is going to interfere.
I just have a really weird feeling that one of those two is going to interfere in that match. Or there's going to be some way for Roman Reigns to win. So, I got to go with Roman on this one. I gotta go with the Tribal Chief. No matter if he wins or loses, he would still be.
Yeah, well, I'm going with.
I'm going with the Tribal.
I'm going with the Tribal Chief too. I'm going with Roman Reigns, and I'm calling it just like I called it yesterday in Weekends of Wrestling. Jimmy and Jay are going to join Roman Reigns,
and then The Rock is gonna
as the Bloodline, and then The Rock is gonna challenge him to reclaim the true Tribal Chief. I'm telling you.
They could be
that match is going to happen. Mark my words. WrestleMania, Roman Reigns against the Rock.
The Jimmy, Jay, and Roman can be the Wild Samoans 2.0.
Exactly.
What the heck was that?
I just scratched my ear. What, I can't scratch my ear?
What was that? You just said... It just popped.
All right, wrestling fans, our time is up. But before we go, we're going to give you... We're going to give you some insight on something we've been talking about. We've been putting up for the past week or so. Evolution of Pro Wrestling is presenting a interpromotional tournament, a 16-man tournament, single elimination bracket.
Right.
But this is a two-part show. We will be discussing the first side of the bracket, and I guarantee you the matches are going to be epic. And here's the kicker. You, the fans, decide the stipulation. A stipulation must be added. We will add it. It will be amazing. You will love it. And it's just going to go It's gonna go amazing. Like, do you know the matchups that you can think of? All the leading up to the rivalries of how these matches can go, leading into the finals of the tournament. Like, the suspense is endless when it comes to something like that. You know what I'm saying? So, I would say probably next week, we will be announcing we will be posting the brackets, the superstars that will be in this tournament, and then we will begin our Friday show with that tournament, and we will have a live bracket right in front of your face.
Yep.
Make sure you tune in for that. But in the meantime, Jaden, as always, we tell you guys to follow us. Please follow us at social media on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. Please feel free to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Evolution of Pro Wrestling. If you guys have any topics in mind, any concerns, any questions you want to ask us, please feel free to message us on Facebook Messenger or email us at evolutionofprowrestling@gmail.com. Jaden, next week's topic. Should we tell him or should we not tell him?
We gotta stir the pot again, Dad.
Okay, so my son wants to stir the pot a little more, so he wants to hold off on the topic at hand.
They gotta find out by themselves. They gonna find out Friday.
Well, we'll just put it this way: it's going to be an epic one, just like this one. Thank you, fans, for tuning into this topic. First, Undertaker versus Sting, who would have won? Who pretty much would have got that win in the dream match? For myself, Lewis, the Encyclopedia of Pro Wrestling.
And Jay, the Whiz Kid of Pro Wrestling.
And for my lovely wife, producer and director, Yesenia. Thank you, fans, for joining us. Tune in next week on Friday, 8:30 sharp. Good night, fans.